In today's world, social media is no longer just a form of entertainment, it has become a part of everyday life. For many teenagers, scrolling through social media is often the first thing they do in the morning and the last thing they do before going to sleep. Platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, TikTok have transformed how teenagers communicate, express themselves, and view the world around them. While social media connects people across distances and allows young voices to be heard, it also raises a few important questions. How does constant online interaction affect teenagers' mental health, self-esteem, and behavior? Hi, I'm Zafran, and I'll be your host. In this documentary, we will be exploring the effects of social media on a teenager, examining both its positive and negative impacts. Through real experiences, expert opinions, and research, we aim to better understand how social media help teenagers shape their life in this modern age. To begin, it is important to note that social media is not entirely harmful. When used responsibly, in fact, it can offer meaningful benefits to teenagers. For instance, it supports them in their social development and creativity. However, as social media usage increases, concerns begin to emerge. Behind carefully curated photos and viral trends, there is a growing impact on a teen's emotional well-being, one that is not always immediately visible.
So the reasons for the addiction of social media on teens can be generally described by two main factors. The first one is the algorithm used by the social media. So before explaining this, we need to understand about dopamine. And dopamine is a chemical in the brain that acts as a reward system. And more importantly, it gives the brain a sense of pleasure and motivates us to repeat for certain behaviors. And that's exactly how social media platforms use it. They are designed to draw attention and keep users online for as long as possible. For example, every scroll, every like, and every comment on platforms such as X, Facebook, or YouTube triggers a small release of dopamine and pushing users to seek for more stimulation. And teenagers are especially sensitive towards this stimulation because their brains are still developing, and as a result, they are more vulnerable to these addictive patterns and often spending much longer time than adults. And the second factor is a fear of missing out, or FOMO. And it's described as a common anxiety that others may having a reward experience while one is absent, with a strong desire to stay connected. However, it's important to know that FOMO is not a form of addiction in a strict clinical sense. Instead, it's a behavior which is driven by fear and anxiety, which encourages teenagers to check social media more repeatedly. Many teenagers worry about missing important trends, message from friends, or social interaction. So over time, this anxiety pushes them to check for social media over and over again, which leads to an excessive screen use and social media dependency.
Social media now has a significant impact on teens' life, influencing their identities, communication preferences, and worldviews. Positively, even when there isn't much face-to-face engagement, teens may use social media sites like Instagram, WhatsApp, and TikTok to sustain relationships and share experiences with friends, family, and bigger groups. For some young people, especially those who are lonely or misunderstood, online communities can provide emotional support and acceptance. For example, a teenager who is experiencing stress at school could find encouragement in supportive messages from friends or by joining online communities where others have gone through similar things. However, the influence of social media also brings serious challenges. Teenagers are constantly exposed to well-chosen images and posts that often present unrealistic standards of beauty, success, and happiness. As a result, many begin to compare themselves with their peers, leading to increased pressure, anxiety, and depression. For instance, a teenager scrolling through social media may feel inadequate when seeing others receive many likes or positive comments. Additionally, excessive screen use, especially late at night, may disrupt their sleeping cycles. Many teenagers will stay awake replying to messages or watching videos, which can affect their concentration and energy levels during the day. Social media use also reduces time spent on physical activities, contributing to a more sedentary lifestyle. Over time, this constant need to stay connected can become addictive, causing teenagers to rely heavily on social media for validation and entertainment. As social media continues to shape teenage life, it is essential to recognize both its benefits and risks in order to promote healthier and more balanced use.
Social media has many benefits, but it also comes with risks. Today, I want to share some suggestions to help teens achieve a balanced and healthy lifestyle while they're online. Here are some suggestions that everyone, especially for teens, who can follow to stay safe and well while online. For parents, they can establish screen time limits. For example, set clear rules regarding how much time your teens can spend on social media daily. Parents can encourage them to engage in activities they enjoy that don't involve screens. For instance, sports, arts and crafts, reading, or volunteering. In fact, this can help to maintain real-world connections and mental well-being. Besides that, by turning off notifications on social media can help teens stay healthy on social media. Turn off the notifications which are not urgent. Practice giving all your attention to whatever you're doing at the moment instead of distracting yourself by scrolling through your social media. But sometimes it is difficult for teens to turn off notifications on social media. Thus, teens can use an app to reduce their phone use. Teens can choose an app that lets them block specific apps like Facebook or Instagram. For instance, off time which are available for iOS and Android lets teens block distracting social media and other apps, and they can choose from filter modes like work, family, and me time to allow themselves access to certain things they need. Moreover, be mindful of what you follow. Choose to follow accounts that inspire, support, or make you feel good. On the other hand, unfollow or mute those that trigger negativity, comparison, or stress. By being mindful of what they follow, teens can create a social media environment that supports their mental health rather than harming it. A positive feed can act as a source of encouragement and inspirations, helping teens feel more balanced, confident, and emotionally healthy. In short, social media aren't inherently good or bad. It is a tool which is powerful, useful, but with risk. The keys for teens are balance, mindfulness, and support.
Social media has become a bigger part of the teenager's daily life. It brings both positive and negative effects. On the positive side, social media helps teenagers connect with others. It allows them to stay in touch with friends and meet people who share the same interests. Many teenagers also feel accepted and receive emotional support through the social media, especially when they feel lonely and stressed. However, social media also has a negative effect. pressure on their platform can affect mental health and cause anxiety or depression. Spending too much time on social media can disrupt the sleep and reduce the physical activity. Over time, teenagers may become addicted and rely too much on their phone. There are several reasons when teenagers become addicted to social media. First, social media platforms use algorithms that keeping should connect to users like, making it hard to stop scrolling. Second, like comments, the infection give the mind rewards with encouraging repeat use. That's fear of missing out. Normal, making teenagers checking social media constantly so they don't feel bad. So reduce the negative effect. There's some simple solution. Teenagers can set screen time limited to control their usage. Turn off notifications can help reduce determined screen and the screens. In addition, follow accounts that spread and experience positive message can create the healthier online environmental inclusion. Social media can be beneficial if used wisely. With good self-control and positive habits, teenagers can enjoy the benefits of social media with avoiding this harmful